Hey guys, today we're playing Tekken, the arcade version for the PlayStation 2. This is on Tekken 5. I really don't know who to pick, so I'm just going to keep on pushing left with my eyes closed and I'll pick somebody. So I'm playing as Yoshimitsu. I don't think I've ever played the arcade version before. I've only played the PlayStation 1. But if you get Tekken 5 for the PlayStation 2, which I found on Goodwill for $3. It has Tekken of the arcade versions, not the PlayStation versions, because the PlayStation versions are somewhat enhanced. Playing this though, I realize it's a lot more clunky than, say, the recent Tekkens or even Tekken 3, because I was playing that yesterday. It doesn't look as nice, that's for sure. It seems like the polygons are a little bit less angular than the PlayStation 1 version. The PlayStation 1 version usually had extras in it. Tekken 1 wasn't really, to my knowledge, revered as the good Tekken. Some people don't like Tekken at all, but Tekken 1 was around the time of Virtual Fighter, and that's a way better game in my opinion. I think Tekken started to get good around Tekken 3. That's when it got my attention. One thing, it's a lot more difficult, but this is the arcade version. The PlayStation versions are usually enhanced with like cutscenes and extra characters. And I don't really know how to play Tekken all that well. I'm better at 5, but it's only from button mashing. Characters just don't seem as responsive as the other Tekkens. I apologize for the quality of the video, although you're probably not missing much because this was originally like a PlayStation 1 quality game, but I had to use the Dazzle instead of the HD recorder because apparently this is too low resolution for the HD recorder to handle. It was refusing to accept the video feed, which sucks. But you gotta do what you gotta do. And I said I'd do some retro games, even though this isn't retro, it's retro-ish. This game's probably, gosh, it's getting up there. It has to be at least like 15 years old. I didn't look at the data when it came out, but I was still in elementary school. Maybe in the 4th or 5th grade, I don't remember. And the characters are ugly in this game. This was a big deal on the PlayStation, but I don't really remember it being that much of a big deal. I guess they don't do ring outs on this one. You think they would because of the little square platform, but apparently they don't. If you hear the bunching crunching on the microphone, I apologize. This microphone doesn't pick me up all that well unless I'm up close and personal. It definitely has PlayStation-like textures, but it was running on different hardware. I do think the PlayStation version was a little bit blocky. This is trying to compete against Virtual Fighter on the Sega Saturn. Sega Saturn's version of Virtual Fighter was pretty bad, to the point where they had to end up remaking it to Virtual Fighter Remix. Because I guess these textures look better, I don't know. I'm gonna play as somebody else, so I'm gonna let it count down. It sounds like they've had the same announcer for a long amount of time. Alright, let's try somebody else. Play as a girl this time. I don't even know who's who because they're so... Beside, like, if the name looks familiar, I recognize the name Nina that looked like Law beside Nina. The characters are so deformed. But I don't think people really started playing Tekken until Tekken 2, and it really took off on Tekken 3. Tekken 3 for a PlayStation game had so many extras. Even though it didn't look as good as the arcade game, it was way better. And I remember unlocking the dinosaur Gong. I think it was his ending. One of the characters' endings, the disk space was so loaded they didn't have enough room to finish the ending. So the game would like mess up when it would get to one of the endings of the characters. So Namco's pretty famous for putting a lot of stuff in their Tekken games. This is actually part of Tekken 5, which it was awfully generous of them to put Tekken 1, 2, and 3. I mean, they're not the loaded PlayStation versions, but I mean, it's still pretty cool. And in some ways, the arcade versions at least are better than the PlayStation versions, and as far as graphics go. I mean, the graphics obviously aren't mind-blowing, but you know, you'd see a difference. Now if this was developed for the PlayStation later on, I'm sure the PlayStation would be more than capable of handling it. One thing they did with Tekken 3 though, to make at least the characters look as good, is they kind of painted some of the backgrounds and took out some of the polygonal objects in the background. But judging from this game doesn't even really have polygonal objects in the background. It looks pretty flat. Do recognize the Native American girl. I guess that's who she's supposed to be. She looks pretty stereotypical with the little one feather in her hat or bandana sort of thing. Can't even think of what to call that. The headdress, I don't know. I would hardly call it a headdress if it was one feather though. The characters are just a lot more clunkier and don't move as fast. If you ever watch Necro VMX's videos, he detests Tekken games. He always says that he beat one of the games with one button. I don't know how he did that because I have trouble, unless I just plain suck, which could be a possibility, but I don't think I could do that. He must have did some strategic maneuvering with the directional pad. But he detests that game, and I believe the Dead or Alive games, and Virtual Fighter. I don't know about Dead or Alive actually. I don't know if I heard him. Most 3D games, he's usually for like Soul Calibur and I guess the Street Fighter games, although they're technically 2D games even if they're in 3D. Oh, at least Nina's faring slightly better than Yoshimitsu. Speak of the devil and he appears. Wow, he plays a lot better than me. At least the computer does. There's combos and stuff, but I have no idea what they are. You don't really hear much about Tekken 1, so not as much coverage on Tekken 1 as there are the other games. I've played every single Tekken except the Tekken Tag Tournament. I might have played the first one a long time ago, but I know I haven't played the most recent, which is supposed to be the best, Tekken Tag Tournament 2. They're fun games. I can't decide between Virtual Fighter, Dead or Alive, or Tekken which one I like the best, but Tekken controls the most clunky, but it feels a lot smoother than it did. But if I had to pick a 3D game that's not Street Fighter, because I consider them technically 2D games, I'd probably say Soul Calibur is probably the best 3D game to play in my opinion. Yep, it was law. You saw a little cutscene of him opening his mouth. When Capcom started first putting out 3D games, they looked terrible. I loved them though, like, cause this level made me think of Rival Schools, which I don't know why I gave that away, cause I really liked that game. It's probably super rare, expensive now, knowing my luck. I don't think it's on the PlayStation Network arcade or whatever. Kind of irks me. I wish they would add some sort of PlayStation 2 emulation program. I mean, if the games don't work, they don't work, but I'm sure the PlayStation 3 is more than capable of handling some sort of emulation. Because I'm playing this on a PlayStation 2. And it doesn't always function the best. I got it used because I had a PlayStation 2 and originally got a 60 gig PlayStation 3. And with time, it kind of went out on me. I fixed it, but now I switched to a top-loading PlayStation 3 because I'm scared one of my discs are going to get stuck in the system. I only want to use it unless it's an emergency or something. But that's the only one that plays PlayStation 2 games, but at the time there wasn't, because I guess people didn't have them long enough. They didn't have the yellow lighted death that's caused from overheating, and I don't care. Unless you live in Antarctica, like, there's no way to avoid that overheating with time with the older systems. Unless you live in a very cold house, I don't know. But no matter what I did, put it on books, whatever. Even tried one of those cooling fans. No matter what I did, damn thing still overheat. And then Sony wants to give you a ticket that's $150. I don't know what it costs overseas, but $150 US here to get it fixed for something that they did. And if you go on eBay and try to buy one of those PlayStations that play the PlayStation 2 games, well, PlayStation 3, so if you get PlayStation to play the PlayStation 2 games, you can just say a PlayStation 2. I apologize if this commentary is slightly boring. It's been a long day today, but I wanted to make videos. I have no idea when this one's going to get posted, because there's a couple I'm recording at the same time, and I'll release them a little bit at a time. At least that's the plan. I might get impatient and release maybe a few. I don't know. Still have a video of Resident Evil Dark Side Chronicles, but I've yet to put it up because I feel like I put the Umbrella Chronicles up so soon. The games are so similar, I don't want them to get them confused. That's funny, I pushed the throw button too. Is this using that Mortal Kombat AI? I have no idea what the electricity means. I probably did at one point, but I'm brain dead. Wow, his throw looked way better, even though it wasn't a throw. Every game has to have a Bruce Lee-like character. Mortal Kombat had Liu Kang. Street Fighter had that... I can't even think of his name, but he looked exactly like Law. So when I was playing Street Fighter versus... Street Fighter versus Tekken, I couldn't tell if it was Law or the other guy. I can't think of his name, but he looks exactly like Law or Bruce Lee. He was in Super Street Fighter. I'm having a brain fart. This will be the last match, so by the time I remember, this video will be long done. You can remind me if you want, but I'll probably look it up after the end of this video. Alright guys, this is Tekken 1, the arcade game on the PlayStation 2, on Tekken 5. Definitely if you see it cheap, it's a good deal because you not only get Tekken 5, you get some like single player like fighting game starring, I think his name's like June. I don't know, the main character of the game. Maybe I'll see him on here. I didn't see him, but the main character of the game, I can't remember what his name is. But yeah, you get that, and again you get Tekken, the arcade versions 1, 2, and 3, Tekken 5, and then I think you have a bunch of training modes. And before the game even starts, it starts out with the space shooting part. But I'll cover Tekken 5 at a different time and day. I wanted to cover the actual arcade versions of Tekken separately. But anyway guys, thank you for watching, and I hope this video was entertaining enough. I know I wasn't super enthusiastic playing this, but there's just a lot going on, but I still want to record videos. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and you guys take care. Bye.